and welcome to Josef's Model Railway and Toy Room. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me. Just a little bit of housekeeping. You don't need to like, follow, or subscribe to any of the videos I put out there. Put them out there where I can. Have a holly jolly great time doing so. Quick video, definitely this time, might be the fastest one ever. So you will recall that in the previous video, we started part one of developing this section, and we're putting in a communications mast and sorting that out. Well, that's part two, and you'll see that in the following video. So we'll put that aside for a second, and we're just going to make our way over. We've got a coastal scene, and we're at the low-lying bit. And then, as you can see, it was kind of where the wheat field is that's just been, the combine harvester's gone over it. And there's another section here where it's a bit higher that they still need to do. And we've covered that in an earlier video. And it's very reminiscent of a scene from the Eyre Peninsula undergoiters crossing in South Australia. So you'd have a lot of these sort of wheat fields and things like that, and then just neighbouring it was a little bit of area like this, and then it was the beach. So as a result, it's reasonably plausible for what I'm seeing, and we have an old rusted truck here. Now we're going to come in with some closer shots in just a minute, but this section, which obviously while we have the main line running around, there's also the old line that used to be here that is no longer in use. And we haven't really told a lot of a story regarding that as yet. We did cover this in an earlier video regarding our rail trail that we created for it, but we haven't really done a whole lot with it, and that is a story for another day. But what I thought we might do is I did a little short video, one of my shorts not long ago, talking about details. Do they matter? I sort of actually just put that short video out just for my own benefit. I just wanted to sort of test the waters there to see how it would go, and it was exactly what I thought. Use a controversial title and get some reaction, and that's what I got. A lot of comments coming in regarding it, and that was kind of the point. Now, I do like extreme detail, but sometimes I scratch my head going, why bother? Who's looking apart from me? But it's what we do. And so what I thought we'd just do here, this video is really, really quick. I decided that this scene is looking just perfect at the moment, but, and then I thought, I'm really not a big person about snakes. They're not my favorite creatures in the world. However, as much as I fear or dislike them, I certainly don't wish anything, I don't wish any unnecessary harm upon any living creature. And as a result, that's why I always feel when a snake comes up and slithers up to you, it's not so much that you have to get scared or panic, but for the most part, unlike human beings, a snake doesn't have any arms. So it can't exactly come up to you and shake hands. I mean, it coming up to you is just the way it's going to do it. That's the cards it was dealt. So as a result, I thought I'm going to have a snake on the layout. But my snake can be a friendly one. It's my layout. It can be whatever it wants to be. So it's not going to bite anyone. It's not going to do any harm. It's just going to live here in its little spot that seems most appropriate, because this is where you're going to find them. And while I bought a little kit from Bush here that actually has a little garden snake, I thought, yeah, well, I'm not going to leave it like they did in the picture. That looks absolutely hideous. So I thought maybe we could make a little red-bellied black snake, which is common to the sight that I would see in this area. As a matter of fact, while we were taking a trip down Whalers Way a few years ago, here's an actual picture
of not a red-bellied black snake. Sorry, I got my pictures confused, but needless to say, here's some pictures.
So that's basically what we did. We've taken, and as you can see, I've still got another one on the sprue here. So there's just a few of these. There's also frogs, rats, little fish, and butterflies. I'm umming and ahhing about doing a pink tail on the rat and sitting it in there, or doing the butterflies. Story for another day, quick video like I said. So the whole idea is we put a snake in, we've painted him accordingly to resemble a red-bellied black snake. But also, I jumped on the AI again. I thought we need a signpost, and that's basically what we can see if we come in with a quick shot here on some AI concepts I was working on. I thought we'll call this Snoodles Crossing, because we'll call him Snoodle the Snake. Noodle Knocker Junction's up the way. This is a snake. We put them together. We got Snoodle. So this is Snoodle the Snake. And we made this little sign that said, Snoodles Crossing, be kind. It's not an official sort of a sign. It's just for people who are walking by. Perhaps the farmer put it there to let his crew know that if you're up that way, there's a snake over in that direction. Just leave him be. And that's pretty much all it is. And that's all this video is today. Made a little signpost. I painted a snake, I put it in the scene, final shots, and here we are. As you can see, this is at the point we were working on getting the trunking down to the mast section. Then it got me thinking, I'm really not a big fan of snakes, so I wasn't in a hurry to get a snake on the layout. This one, of course, is from Bush. This is kit HO scale 1835. It's the garden bits and pieces if you need it. And it actually comes with a couple of snakes on the sprue. As you can see, there's one just there. And I've got another one taped here, and I thought we might just go from having that to maybe painting it. You're thinking like me, we'll just use a black. And I thought, not bad, but we've had a discussion about going for detail. So what about we do one side red and the other side black, and we're going to try for a red belly black snake. That's a pretty common one you'd see around in Australia, and this is my hybrid type of layout. So let's check it out. Currently, we've just got him taped down on a bit of masking tape, so it's nice and sticky. Let's get this happening. When it comes to the black, as I said, we're going to use the Tamiya, a semi-gloss. A matte black would probably be better, but now when it comes to the reds, usually with bits and pieces I've been using something that stands out, and in this case it's just bright red. However, I'm actually going to use a pure red. And if we just look, the camera may just pick it up. This is a slightly darker shade, and that's kind of what we're going to need for this fella, so let's give it a try. The last bits of sunshine here, and what a right mess I made of my thumb, but that's okay. Let's leave this dry for a minute, and I might do a second coat of it before we flip it and do the black. I'm hopeless with the filming every time I've sprayed it. I've forgotten to set the camera up. Anyway, you can see I did the underside in red, 2 coats, and the top bit, that's its first bit of black, which is just sprayed directly at the top. Whereas the others, I went around and caught the edges. So we'll see how it dries up. I think I'm gonna have to do one more coat of black to the top, but you're getting the idea. It's not that bad. Ah, yes, it definitely needs an extra coat on top, but the appearance isn't too bad. All right, I haven't got a tripod or anything fancy like this, and it's getting quite late.
No idea.
Well, as you can see, we've just come in, it's completely dry, and we're going to be slipping him off that tape. What I wanted to just point out is I decided he's probably going to be sitting somewhere in this vicinity. And I thought we might have a sign. See, we never really established what happened between the old line, and then obviously they took the new line through. We'll do more about that when we get down to the other side where Percival's landing is. But at the moment, I like the idea. As I said, I'm not a huge fan of snakes, but this is a more friendlier one, or so I'd like to believe. And generations have lived here, and there's nothing else really going on in this area. So I thought we might Snoodle the Snake. So as you can see, as I always do, some other signs I'm working on for other scenes, which you've probably just seen in the previous video, including the rail network that we were going to be doing for our communications hut here, and some for the truck. But I took the time of just doing a couple of extras in different size configurations with a different post if we needed. And if we just look quite closely here, you can easily see it says Snoodle Crossing, be kind. I thought it was just a cheeky little option to put on here that someone put on as a little warning to a friendly snake that's living there, and just be careful. So let's get this together. Little mice could be good. I haven't come to that yet. They could give some good detail, but we'll leave some of those details for the minute. As I said, for the sign we're going to use here, I'm going to use the little one. Now you can probably see by the picture I did a few extra posts, but remembering what I did for my other sticks where I've just used the offcuts of Scale Model Scenics, bits of the laser cut timber, I think that's exactly what we're going to do on this occasion. So with our trees just drying here, we can put this PVA away just for a second. We won't be doing any more trees today, so we'll pop this one back in the bag, which we leave standing up amongst other things in a bucket, so it's not going anywhere. That's been in there now for several months.
Don't have any more scale model scenery left, but here are our scientific power poles we got from another kit. That'll do.
You spotted the mistake too. Well done. All right, time is of the essence. So how's our glue going? That's been about 20 minutes. I was going to use an ink, but I might just use a bit of brown rust for this one. Timber, which is actually one of the telegraph poles
That's from that kit. That was what was handy there. This should drink that in nicely. A little bit of a smudge on the top, but I think that's just what makes it look what it is. And always run a paintbrush through the hair. I've spoken about it before. Get those good oils onto it. So as we just let that one dry at the moment, you can see I should have cut that stick a little longer for the post, but that's okay because we'll put a few tufts underneath it. And remember, it's not an official sign. It's just one where it's nice to discover and be aware of what's out there. Self-preservation, I think they call it.
Well, girls and boys, ladies and gentlemen, I told you it was a quick one. That's all we've got for today. I hope you've enjoyed this little snapshot of Snoodles Crossing. And if you really want to humour yourself, if you just go to snoodle.com, check out who owns that domain. You may well be surprised, and maybe it's the next big thing in the world you need to be aware of. Yes, indeed. In the meantime, though, look, I hope you've enjoyed this little bite-sized snapshot here. Of course, we're coming back to our communications master, finishing that little scene off in the next video. But as always, please do stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Toodles!